Welcome back to Read, Write, Sip. Happy Halloween. Today I'll be going over and wrapping up my October reads. I had 6 books I had chosen to read for spooky season, and I will talk about how I did with those. And a little later on, I will let you know there are so many great November reading challenges going on. I thought I was doing 1, and it turns out I'm going to do a little bit of 3. And I'll talk about that too. And of course, we'll go to the tea of the week later on. But for now, let's start with my October reads. The first book I had that I had been wanting to read for a long time was We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson, who wrote a story a lot of people are familiar with, The Lottery. Very short book, read the whole book, and I don't think this was as chilling or scary as the cover makes it seem. Actually, I found this a little bizarre and kind of disturbing. I don't even know. I guess this would be a Halloween read or a spooky season read, but I don't think I liked it as much as I thought I would. But definitely, if you're a Shirley Jackson fan, this is one to check out. And it was very unusual. And I do think there was a lot more, to unpack. And I didn't get a chance, but I want to look at some commentaries and some reviews and see what other people picked up about it. But I would say a yes, a thumbs up, and maybe 4 stars to this one. The Witches of Bone Hill. My hat's having a hard time today. The Witches of Bone Hill. This was by Ava Morgan. I got through and made it to the end. I wasn't sure I would. It was kind of a long read, almost 400 pages, and I have a lot going on right now, but I enjoyed this. I thought this was kind of fun. A lot of odd people in town, fun rituals, supernatural mystery, and I enjoyed this one. I'm giving this one 5 stars. The Sundown Motel. Boy, my hat has a personality of its own. It's going places without me. The Sundown Motel, which was by Simone St. James. This one I found, this one was very twisty and creepy. This was one, I would say, definitely spooky season, October. And if you are kind of not into the horror genre and it's not your thing that you're venturing, don't read it at night. But this one I gave 5 stars. Unfortunately, one of my goals had been to read Dracula because I do love the classics, and I had said back in my October video that I was disappointed to realize while I've seen many movie adaptations, I have never read the book. And unfortunately, I got in a couple of chapters and life kind of happened and I did not finish it. But I do intend to finish this and get back to it. It is on my list. Sadly, I did not get to Haunting on the Hill, but I do intend to keep reading, and I got in the first few pages and was not able to go any further, but because of the show based on in this book, if you remember, this is the first novel authorized to return to the world of Shirley Jackson's The Haunting of Hill House. I don't know what it is with Shirley Jackson. I like The Lottery. I did read We Have Always Lived in the Castle, and now this. But my daughter had watched the show, and I just thought I wanted to read it. If you saw my October video, you know that I was very taken by the cover, and sometimes I do buy a book based on the cover alone. So I will get to this, but sadly, didn't work out for October. Last but not least, I had in my video I did last week, I had a last-minute add-on. Very ambitious. Sometimes I have more books than eyes, and it's like when you have so much on your plate and you're hungry but can't get to it all, or you don't finish it all, your stomach's bigger, or your eyes are bigger than your stomach. September House. I did not get to this. I was supposed to read it last week that night when I had said in that video last Tuesday that I was going to read it. I was really looking forward to it. I've heard about it. A lot of booktubers have read it, and I did not get to it. But I am not putting it away. I am going to somehow squeeze this in with my very ambitious November reads, and we'll see what happens with that. And now we come to November, and I love October, and I'm sad to see it go. And it was a mixed month for me. A lot of things I had intended to do I didn't get to. We had a couple of little bumps along the way. We just got some sad news that my dog has a terminal illness, and there is no treatment. So we're basically, which is cutting into maybe a little bit of my reading time, and very important and just priority. I'm spending a lot of time, and we're doing some things with my dog, taking him out, getting him a puppuccino at Starbucks, and just spending whatever time left he has with him. So October was a little bit of a roller coaster. Not quite what I had planned, but then that's life. Doesn't always go according to what we want or what we plan, right? And we just keep going on. Let's get into November. I was very excited. I wanted to do the Historathon and read historical fiction, but then I was hearing about Nora November. And I believe Storm Reads had mentioned she was doing Nora November, and I love Nora Roberts. And I actually have a great Nora story. Back in 2015, I had always wanted, if you're aware, if you're a Nora Roberts reader, you know that she has a bookstore called Turn the Page, based in Boonesboro, Maryland. And I have always wanted to visit that bookstore. And actually had thought maybe I would even see Nora, but another story. Back in 2015, my son took my daughter and I for a 2-day trip. We stayed in Washington, D.C., and drove over to Boonesboro, and I got to visit Turn the Page, an adorable little bookstore, quaint small town. I love small towns, so this was ideal. I did not see Nora, but got a lot of pictures, a lot of the giant, cutouts of Nora all over the store. I got to pose, and I did buy quite a stack of Nora books. So when I heard about Nora November, I thought, I have some Nora books. I think I want to do that. And then I heard about November, NonFiction November. And I do read a lot of nonfiction. I read a lot of inspirational books and self-help and science and motivational books, writing books, just about everything. I have a little library in itself of nonfiction, and I thought, gee, I think I'd like to do NonFiction November. So I couldn't just stick with one because I wanted to do them all. Don't we all the books? And I thought, what if I do a little bit of each? And so I have my November TBR. So for Historathon, I picked 2 books that I have had on my shelf for a while and thought I'd like to read. One is Finding Dorothy, and this is written by Elizabeth Letts. And this takes place in Hollywood in 1938. And basically it is based on Judy Garland and The Wizard of Oz. And I can read the back to you. As soon as she learns that MGM is adapting her late husband's masterpiece for the screen, Maud Gage Baum, now in her 70s, sets about trying to finagle her way onto the set. 19 years after Frank's passing, Maud is the only person who can help the producers stay true to the spirit of the book. She's the only one left who knows its secrets. But the moment she hears Judy Garland rehearsing the first notes of Over the Rainbow, Maud recognizes the yearning that defined her own life story from her youth as a suffragette's daughter to her hardscrabble prairie years with Frank, which inspired The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. This is historical fiction. I think it has a little bit of biographical tone to it. I had picked this up quite a while ago. I had intended to read it, got away from me, probably buried in my stack of hundreds of books that also got away. So I decided, why not for Historathon for this November? My second choice for Historathon is Madame Tussaud by Michelle Moran. And Michelle Moran has a lot of great historical fiction. This one appealed to me. It takes place during the French Revolution, and it balances, there's a lot of fact, there's fiction. Moran is a very talented historical fiction writer, and I just thought, I love the cover, I love the idea, I'll read the back to you. Smart and ambitious Marie Tussaud has learned the secrets of wax sculpting by working alongside her uncle in their celebrated wax museum, the Salon d'Essai. From her popular model of the American ambassador, Thomas Jefferson, to her tableau of the royal family at dinner, Marie's museum provides Parisians with the very latest news on fashion, gossip, and even politics. Though many people are starving and can no longer afford bread, Marie's business is booming. In salons and cafes across Paris, people like Maximilien Robespierre are lashing out against the monarchy. Soon there's whispered talk of revolution. Spanning 5 years from the budding revolution to the reign of terror, Madame Tussaud brings us into the world of an incredible heroine whose talent for wax modeling saved her life and preserved the faces of a vanished kingdom. And I have a lot of fun memories of visiting a wax museum in Boston as a child with my grandparents. And so this appealed to me so much. I've always been fascinated with wax museums and the likenesses. And this was excellent. And actually, Historical Novels Review gave this 5 stars, an excellent and entertaining novel steeped in the zeitgeist of the period. Highly recommended. And I can't wait to start this. And I actually think I'll start for my November Historathon. I'll start with this one. For Norathon, Nora November, I picked 2 Noras that I had also wanted to get to, that I had picked up while I was in Turn the Page in Boonesboro, Maryland, in Nora's beautiful, quaint bookstore. One is Dark Witch, book 1 of the Cousins O'Dwyer trilogy. These stories, there are 3 in the series, I believe. They all take place in Ireland, County Mayo, and it's all about ancestry and generations. This one says, not far from the luxurious castle where she is spending a week, Iona finds her cousins, Branna and Connor O'Dwyer, and family is family. They invite her into their homes and into their lives. When Iona lands a job at the local stables, she meets the owner, Boyle McGrath, cowboy, pirate, wild tribal horseman. He's 3 of her biggest fantasy weaknesses, all in one big bold package. Iona realizes that there she can make a home for herself and live her life as she wants. But nothing is as it seems. An ancient evil has wound its way around Iona's family tree and must be defeated. Family and friends will fight with each other and for each other to keep the promise of hope and love alive. So while I really wasn't looking for a romance novel, I just thought this had so much. Ireland, where my father's mother's family is from, I thought this just sounded enchanting. I've always, along with my dream of seeing the Eiffel Tower and Tuscany, I would love to see Ireland. I thought this was a great choice for Nora November. My second Nora book is another 3-book series, Dance Upon the Air. It's the first in the Three Sisters Island trilogy. And so this one, when Nell Channing arrives on charming Three Sisters Island, she believes that she's finally found refuge from her abusive husband and from the terrifying life she fled so desperately 8 months ago. But even in this quiet, peaceful place, Nell never feels entirely at ease. Careful to conceal her true identity, she takes a job as a cook at the local bookstore cafe and begins to explore her feelings for the island sheriff, Sec Todd. But there is a part of herself she can never reveal to him, for she must continue to guard her secrets if she wants to keep the past at bay. One careless word, one misplaced confidence, and the new life she's carefully created could shatter. And just as Nell starts to wonder if she'll ever be able to break free of her fear, she realizes that the island suffers under a terrible curse, one that can only be broken by the descendants of the Three Sisters, the witches who settled the island back in 1692. Now, this has so many great things going on here. First of all, it's island, it's sisters, the Three Sisters Island, witches, a curse, some romance. I just thought this sounded like a great choice for Nora November, and hopefully if I can get to this as well as, completing The Dark Witch, I can get to the other books because they're both 3-book series, so that's something to maybe shoot for as a goal by the end of the year to get both series completed. I've had these books now for 7-8 years since my trip to Boonesboro. Now we get to NonFiction November, and I am very much an advocate for the environment, and I read a lot about climate change. I'm very concerned about the environment and the planet and what we're leaving. Mother Earth is sick, and what are we leaving behind for the next generation? I have grown children, I have grandchildren, and so this is something that I have been very actively involved in. And I thought, well, I want to look for a few books that maybe kind of dive into that for my Nonfiction November choices. And I came up with The Hidden Life of Trees by Peter Wolben, What They Feel, How They Communicate. This book sounded fascinating. Are trees social beings? In this international bestseller, forester and author convincingly makes the case that yes, the forest is a social network, and he draws on groundbreaking scientific discoveries to describe how trees are like human families. Tree parents live together with their children, communicate with them, support them as they grow, share nutrients when they are sick or struggling, and warn each other of impending danger. Wolben shares his deep love of woods and forests, explaining the amazing processes of life, death, and regeneration that he has observed in his woodland. I had picked this book up a while ago, started, stop. And so I want to start over from page 1 and complete this book for my November nonfiction choice. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm fascinated. I love trees. I have a lot of trees on my property. I have bird feeders, and I just think this sounded so interesting, and so I chose this as the first of my Nonfiction November choices. My second Nonfiction November choice is Silent Spring by Rachel Carson. This is a classic that launched the environmental movement. It's a 50th anniversary edition. Rachel Carson spent a good deal of her professional life as a marine biologist with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. And she had 3 books, which I did not read any of them, Under the Sea, Wind, The Sea Around Us, and The Edge of the Sea, that helped establish her reputation as one of the most prominent writers on the natural world. And so I have wanted to read about this and wanted to see what this book had to say, Carson's thoughts. She lived during 1907 and 1964. So during those times, obviously, climate change wasn't an urgent. I don't know how much she knew about it, how involved she was, but we're at a point right now in the environment in our world where it has become it's beyond wake-up call. We need to act now. We don't have the time we had 20 years ago. So I wanted to read this book and just learn a little bit about what Rachel Carson shares, what she teaches, and hopefully this will be a great read. And I thought it would definitely be a great choice for Nonfiction November. And so basically, that was my October wrap-up and my farewell to spooky season. Sorry to see it go, and sometimes I wish October could last for months, but maybe not this year. I have my November. I'm dipping my toes into all different readathons. I have you saw my Historathon choices, and you saw my Nora November choices and my Nonfiction November choices. So I have 6 books altogether. I will list them below in the comment box if you'd like to check them out, if you'd like to read along with me and dip your toes in all these different ones, or if you're doing the Historathon, let me know what you're reading. If you're doing the Nora November, I'd love to hear what Nora Roberts books you chose. And if you're doing Nonfiction November, I am always looking for more books to add to my nonfiction reading list. So share those in the comment box with me. And now we're going to get to this week's tea. This week's tea is brought to you by Celestial Black Cherry Berry. I love cherry anything. Fresh cherries, cherry candy, cherry tea, cherry Coke. And actually, when cherries go out of season, I buy the frozen black cherries, which are great. You keep them in your freezer. You can thaw them out. You can use them for baking. You can eat them once they're thawed. But I thought this would be the perfect tea. And in honor of Halloween, I have my Big Rich Energy mug. I have black cherry tea. Okay. It tastes great, but what I love more than anything, it smells great. This would make a great candle scent. But Black Cherry by Celestial. And I'll also put that in the comment box if you'd like to maybe pick it up. If you're a tea drinker and you're looking for more teas to add, I would give this one a thumbs up. I really enjoy this one. And it actually is very good ice too. So that is this week's Tea of the Week. So Halloween has come and it's going. We're saying farewell to October, sadly, on to November. And I thank you for being here. And thank you for sticking with me all the way through. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in November. Bye for now.